I'd like to talk to you for a moment about toxicity and detoxification. This is still a highly controversial area, and I find it so interesting as to why, when you say detoxification, it generates such an emotional reaction in the part of many people within biomedicine and in science. It's as if, oh my word, this is slipping back into some anecdotal, non-scientific parlance when you talk detox. Well, let me talk a little bit about this toxicity-detox connection. And I'm now quoting from a very interesting recent paper in one of the premier science journals, Science itself, that was in their March 11th issue of 2016 on page 1117. And the title of this is Tackling Toxics. And in this article, the author, who was actually a postdoc for Dr. Bruce Ames back in the 70s, this is Arlene Blum, who is the founder and executive director of the Green Science Policy Institute in Berkeley, California, talks about Dr. Ames's report that was co-published with Dr. Bloom in 1977 concerning the relative effect that toxic persistent chemicals could have on various kind of cellular processes. What we've seen, however, is extraordinary increasing information about how these persistent organic pollutants can modulate cellular function at the genomic level. And this takes us from toxicology of the whole organism to toxicology of the cells, cellular toxicology and genomic toxicology. This is a whole new era that we're starting to understand the more subtle effects that toxins have, the some 50,000 new chemicals that have been put into the environment that were previously totally unrecognized because we didn't have the tools to understand how the genes are influenced in their expression patterns by low levels of these persistent organic pollutants. Goes on to say that our environment has become rife with these, and as a consequence they are affecting all living organisms that bioconcentrate these materials, and that we really have two approaches to this problem if we're going to find a solution. One is obviously to lower the burden of new materials that are persistent coming into our environment. That's changing the way we use these chemicals. And the second is improving the way that our body processes them into water-soluble derivatives, the process of detoxification, and eliminating them so that they will not persist and modulate biochemistry as they accumulate and gain higher concentrations in fat-soluble tissues. So she goes on to say that scientists can contribute to evaluating health and environmental impacts of the chemical life of a toxic chemical by looking both at marker organisms, at cell biological studies, and at epidemiology to start to recognize that these chemicals have a much broader impact on health than was previously understood. I think this, again, speaks to one of the 7 core principles of functional medicine, the concept of detoxification. How do you lower the toxic burden? How do you improve the body's ability to modulate the inducible enzymes, both phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 detoxification enzymes in various tissues that ultimately allow the body to eliminate these substances rather than bioconcentrate them to a level that actually produces metabolic toxicity? I think, again, there may be still a misnomer about the word detoxification. But from a scientific perspective, what we're starting to see is this toxicity connection is a major contributor to chronic disease.